Back to follow-up segment tonight. Earlier this week, Jesse Waters traveled to Dearborn, Michigan, where the population is about 50% Arab, most of them Muslims. Waters did what he always does. He interviewed folks.
Do you wear a burqa ever?
No. Our religious beliefs, we do not have to cover our face.
Well, thank God, because you have a very beautiful face. What do you do for a living?
Middle East financial services.
Financial services?
Yeah, send money overseas or receive money.
Oh, it sounds suspicious. What do you think about all the Muslims here in Dearborn?
They're bad. They're not friendly. They don't speak to you.
Do you miss the deserts? Pretty cold here.
But now the Muslim advocacy group CAIR, angry with Waters and me. Joining us from Southfield, Michigan, Dawud Walid from the CAIR organization. So what's the beef, Mr. Walid?
Well, the show that you had, Bill, just really shows old, tired, and really bigoted frameworks about the community here in Michigan and Dearborn in particular. And there were a number of factual errors that were in the story. For instance, the mentioning that the police chief was a Muslim, when in fact Chief Ron Haddad is a Lebanese Christian.
But that was corrected, though. I corrected that fairly quickly.
Okay, but then also was misinformation put out saying that there was a Muslim woman who was killed simply for having condoms. That never happened. There was no honor killing or anyone getting stoned to death in Dearborn. It hasn't happened, and there are no honor killings taking place.
Okay, and I think those are legitimate points that should have been clarified by Waters and weren't, so I will cede that those things should have had clarification. There was a condom killing in Germany, and Waters didn't say that. That was said by some guy who didn't know what he was talking about. However, have you ever seen Waters' World before?
I've only seen it about one or two times.
All right. How would you describe it?
Well, how I describe it is it goes into particular communities, and in some ways it makes fun of people or communities, but also it reinforces or plays into stereotypes that people have about certain communities.
But wouldn't you say it was satire and pretty much good-natured satire?
I don't think it really was satire, especially when you have people making comments about honor killings, and then you go on your Facebook page, Bill, and it's not your fault, but because of that story, people are talking about bomb Dearborn, nuke them.
All
that
right,
was
but
literally
you know there are
comments on the
nuts
Facebook
in
page.
every story we do. There are crazy people that react in nutty ways, but your beef is primarily that we ran you down, and I'm submitting to you that every Waters World is a satire and is a Q&A in a very genial way between Waters. There was no malice in that report. And then you had a beef with me. What's your beef with me? What did I do?
Well, it's your show, Bill, not necessarily this one, but not necessarily Mr. Waters, but you are the head of this show and you allowed that to go on. And at the end of the day, the Dearborn community is systematically mischaracterized. There are people who, we have all types of nuts that come into Dearborn, and these types of depictions just give nuts more fuel to come into Dearborn based upon false stereotypes.
Do you feel that Muslims, whether they be in Dearborn or anywhere else, can be made fun of?
Sure. We have sense of humor, sure.
Good. All right. Because the week before, did you see who Waters made fun of the week before?
I sure didn't.
Okay. Catholics, because the Pope was here. It was the same kind of thing. We got a few crank letters from people going, you're denigrating Catholics, but people understand that this is done in a satirical way, and that's why I think you're overreacting. However, your points about honor killings and stonings and things like that, that's my fault as an editor. I I should have said, you know what, if we can't back this up, and believe me, I'm glad you contacted us because it won't happen again, that if there's any kind of accusation of violence or something like that, we'll check it out. If it doesn't check, we'll cut it. But overall, it was a gentle piece, and you know it was gentle. Why are you so upset?
I mean, I don't see this totally being gentle. And if I can just give a little background, and you played the part about the guy missing the desert. Well, I actually know 3 of the people in the story. One of the individuals, actually, Mr. Silva, owns or part owner of a restaurant. He's from Lebanon. He's not from
wait, the guy in the desert. The guy with the do you miss the desert? Where is he from?
He's Lebanese, and there's no desert there.
I think that guy said he was from Yemen.
Well,
West Yemen. It's the desert.
All of Yemen is not the desert. But even the issue about the drone, bill, as far as there's a war going on right now in Yemen, and there's drones and there's people being bombed.
I think you got to lighten up a little bit, Mr. Walid. But as I said, you taught us a good lesson. If we're going to throw out honor killings or we're going to throw out stonings in a largely satirical piece, we can't do that unless we have the facts. And I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, Mr. Walid. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity, Bill, and please come to Dearborn and come join us one day, and we can go.
All right, we'll get some good food.